All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sponsor.
Thank you.
I want to speak. Hey, for you two. Men like Edward Poindexter and Mondo, and the men they changed men like me. I'm Jason Whitmer, number 3 on your list. From not being the little gangbangers coming out here as grown men. But I'm here to speak about Earnest Jackson. I'd appreciate it if you two would look up Earnest Jackson. Jason Whitmer, I'm number 3 on your list. I put my name in since I'm gonna come as a representative of the governor of the state, Ricketts, who appointed me to Restrictive Housing Board.
Thank you for welcoming the board. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I put my application with you, and then I put my application here for a commutation, not necessarily so much in you. Yeah, I wrote a letter to ask for much of anything, but simply to see if you guys are willing to actually look at individuals who've been in a life like I have been in. My story is not really what I came to talk about, and so I just want to say there's no excuses in that. It's in the letter. However, last year I was one voice because there's some injustice in our system. I don't think you guys would disagree, but I'm not sure. Earnest Jackson is one. And it took a while for people to pick up what I was putting out there because it's part of the record, but it got real quiet for some reason. But now it's out there. Now there's a power here. That's you 3. I heard you stay on the radio because everybody sends me everything now involving Earnest Jackson. Earnest Jackson, if those of you don't know, is convicted of murder for being accessory to the shooter's crime. The accessory afterwards went to trial, was acquitted of self-defense, which means Earnest Jackson is accessory to self-defense. The jury also determined he's not the trigger man, let alone a confession, because they acquitted him of the gun. So there's no argument there. What he's stuck with is continuously doing his time until he can either get a pardon, can get parole based on being innocent, which we know the state won't give him parole based on being innocent because that's become some type of policy. Innocent is not an excuse once you're incarcerated and convicted. But you guys could give him a commutation to start with. You should have an investigation to start with. I hear you guys talking to people today with the questions about what they've done and what this. My criticism would be you should spend some time in the community with people like me and others like me who've been through it. So you can kind of see there is people that have been horrible people and done horrible things that you can actually talk to today and see not just a change, but the benefit to the community. I just put it out there for the people that I harm, if they would like to write a letter because I'm coming today, because I put that in 2 years ago. And I just didn't want to go up here with that thing in case it became something and they don't know. But then the community spoke, and it really changed how I see things because I've been volunteering from the day I got out. But I've been changed inside for years. I didn't start to change when I got out. But Earnest Jackson, he was 17 years old. And for people to look at his record in prison, they told him about he got in fights and all these MRs. Yeah, he got the change by going into prison with grown men who actually raped, killed, murdered, beat each other. Grown men like me, I wasn't much more grown, but coming in there being a gangbanger, what do you expect of him? And now if you look at the Earnest Jackson that become this man, long before his name was getting speak, this is a role model person. Why can our leaders, which would be you 3 with the power here, consider him for a commutation? Forget the pardon. I understand you have a rule about the pardon being for the guilty, which is why the guilty, when they step up here, even when they say terrible things by being truthful, like I seen the one guy, I was against him at first, but he was so truthful that I felt like I get that we're doing this thing where we don't care what people did once they harmed an officer. But that's guilty people and people who've done wrong. They're not in the mindset of one day when I wake up, somebody will say, you won't never, ever, ever, ever be considered by me as a person. This is the greatest harm you can do right now in this state. with your power is not consider Earnest Jackson. He did not harm a police officer. He did not even have a gun. It's not even argued that he is the shooter. The jury determined that for sure, even though he stated repeatedly, never been broken from this, as 17-year-olds do, that he wasn't there, but the jury said not guilty of a gun. So that's not a question. We have felony murder where if you're accessory, if we believe you're there, you get what the killer gets. But that's not a question either, because the boy after him went to trial and confessed and was acquitted because the jury seen that he acted in self-defense. Now we got legal structures saying we're keeping Earnest Jackson. So I am begging you, as Christians, not to pick Barabbas no more, but to step up this time. Commute Earnest Jackson's sentence. There's no way that you can't look at this and not find something in your morals and your ethics and with the people you represent that says we would keep this. We got to keep this. There's something there for everybody that says this is a case where we do something. And right now, Nebraska is being known for a lot of terrible things. This shouldn't be one of them. This shouldn't be a battle. Talk to his mother. Talk to his wife. Talk to his sister. I shouldn't be the one to have to advocate with all my record coming behind me to make it look horrible. His mom's never done nothing, and she gets to go through this. His sisters. So I'm asking the governor, Attorney General, Secretary of the State, I'm asking that you step forward and take upon your own initiative to look at this case and pull that young man here so he can go home to his family, so he can go home to his community, and so that the state can know that we don't just throw some of our people away, whatever they look like, whatever walk of life they come from. And that's all I'm asking.
Thank you.